Your house payment is the biggest bill that most of us have. It takes up a huge percentage of our budget every month. So, my partner Denny and I, we talk all the time about house hacking and finding ways to get rid of your housing payment. I personally have no housing payment being overseas. My wife gets free housing for us through her job and benefits. There's a ton of ways to get rid of your housing payment, and one of the best and most accessible that anyone can do is house hacking. So, I wanted to bring in an expert who's done this many times, many different ways. So we brought in Lauren Kean Almond. She is the personal finance expert behind Adulting is Easy. And Lauren, I'm really excited to hear about some of the different ways that you've house hacked and some of the creative ways you've approached house hacking.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I think we'll go ahead and define house hacking to start. And there's a lot of different ways to house hack. How I conceive of it is you buy a property, you live in part of it, you rent the rest of it out. The most obvious way to do this is buy something like a small multifamily, like a duplex, live in one unit, rent the other one out. There's other ways to do it. I mean, you can rent out your garage, you can rent out your pool, you can rent out your yard for dogs to play in. There's tons of different ways to make money by house hacking. What I have done, I started out just buying a single family home and getting a roommate. Pretty classic. Didn't know it was called house hacking at the time, but my payment was on the house was like $725 and he paid me like 550 to live there and I was like 23 years old and so I didn't get rid of my entire payment, but I got rid of most of it and that really launched my personal finance success, really juiced my net worth in my early to mid 20s and really set me up to be where I am now, multimillionaire in my 30s, was able to leave my 9 to 5. And that all started with house hacking. And I didn't just do it once, I did it with that single family with a roommate. I went on to do it in a duplex and then a triplex and then another duplex. And I kept those for the most part as I went. The single family I've sold and that equity is now in a 6 unit apartment building. But the two duplexes and the triplex I basically still own that I had lived in. And this allows you to have a lower down payment than a typical investment property because you're owner occupying it, living in it for a year or two, and then buying the next one and moving out, which is totally allowed, totally legal. And it also allows you, the lower down payment and the lower interest rate as well. And so there's a lot of benefits to doing it. It's not as easy as buying your dream home and staying put for the rest of your life, but it really can set you up for success. And I think it's definitely a place for people to start, especially if they're young.
Yeah, and you were actually not the first person who I've talked to or interviewed who has followed a similar path of building a nice cash flowing portfolio of multifamily properties with serial house hacking, going in, buying a small multifamily property, living there for 1 year, maybe a little longer, renting out the other units, and then moving out of it because with conventional financing, the only obligation is you have to live there for 1 year. So after a year, you can move out and just do it all over again up until you bump up against the limit of how many mortgages are allowed to appear on your credit when you're going out and getting certain loan programs. But it's a great way to build a portfolio, build equity, build cash flow, and like you said, with a low down payment, lower interest rate, then rental property loans. So I love all of that. And we didn't get a chance to talk about this in this episode, but I know you've also done some fun things with short-term rentals as well. Bouncing around among different short-term rental properties that you own, and yeah, just really fun, creative stuff. So, Lauren, in 30 seconds or less, how do you help people, and how can people connect with you if they want to take you up on that help?
So again, my name is Lauren Kean Almond. I'm a content creator for personal finance and a real estate investor based in Tampa Bay, Florida. The main way I help people is through my podcast, Adulting is Easy. I'm very passionate about all topics of personal finance. Real estate is really just one of them. So hop over there and give it a listen. I do interview type ones.
Awesome. And we'll certainly link to that in the show notes. So, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, if you enjoy these quick, focused conversations that we have, please rate and review the show. It makes a world of difference to us. And on that note, we will catch you next time. Want the cash flow appreciation and tax benefits of real estate without becoming a landlord? You've heard of REITs and real estate crowdfunding, but you probably don't know much about 5 other ways to invest passively in real estate. So we put together a free video course for you to show you how to consistently earn 15% plus returns from 5 lesser known hands-off ways to invest in real estate. And even more importantly, we'll keep risk front and center in that whole discussion because really, what's the point of investing for high returns if you also take on high risk, right? So visit sparkrental.com/free to take our free course. Each video is snackable at 10 to 15 minutes long, and the entire course takes less time than watching a movie. Looking forward to chatting with you from within the course.